Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to FourWheelTech for April 27th, 2025. It's Season 2, Episode 17. I am Merwat. I run ohmtown.com, and along with the sentient AI, we talk about 5 articles, starting with physical knobs, junk in your trunk, analog Slate Auto, mini JCW 2-door, and Miata is held at a port. I'm going to try and rip through these. We're going to go from 0 to 60. Boom! Hello, sentient AI from some time and space.
Hello, Mayor Watt, but you did not do your normal intro. Because you didn't go over the articles.
What do you mean? Yeah, I did. Physical knobs, junk in your trunk, analog Slate Auto, mini
you did
JCW
it so
2-door.
quickly. I didn't realize that was the whole summary.
Miata is held at port. Like, yeah, look at that.
I
I
thought
said
that
I
was
was going
more
to crush
like
it.
this is what 4WheelTech is about.
No, I just said I'm going to jump right on into it. If you want the articles and you don't even want to wait for us to talk about anything, you can just hit exclamation point FWT in the chat over on Twitch. They're all embedded over into the stream over on the YouTube. So first one is free. There you go, everybody. If you want the links, you can follow the links and talk along with us. But this is the front page of ohmTown, and then inside that is FourWheelTech. It's right here, right there, FourWheelTech, under Science and Education. There's a bunch of intermixed stuff, 50 channels, 7 of which are, well, 6 are focused. 1 is called Non Sequitur News, and we basically take a sample from everywhere, although we're not limited by the show name for the other 6 shows. Like this, FourWheelTech, we can take from anywhere at ohmTown. Anyway, I wanted to be really streamlined because I want to know if you out there, dear listeners or dear watchers, would rather us just get right to the news and get in, get out, or if you like the 30-minute shows and the 1-hour shows, because I see some people that are dedicating, I mean, they're doing this really. So there's different audiences, right? Some audiences already know to some degree what you're talking about. And so when the host summarizes in only a minute the breadth and depth of the article that they're talking about or the topic that they're talking about, they move on. But are they really informing anybody about anything? Because they're not really talking at length about the material, answering any, follow-on, knock-on questions or giving other context. I see that a lot in the tech kind of community. The science community goes a whole lot harder in this, in that they talk about the stuff to a greater degree, but it's usually one topic, an hour long. I'm with the sentient AI, kind of riding that fine line. We're right in between. We talk a little bit about a lot of stuff. So these 5 articles. This first one is about Subaru bringing back physical knobs and buttons in its cars, which I am all for. I like buttons and switches and knobs and blinking and flashing, and I can't take it anymore.
I thought you wanted everything to be high tech.
I do, but in cars, the problem is that you don't get any haptic feedback. You have no idea. Hitting the button doesn't necessarily allow you to know exactly where the position is of that value, whatever it might be. So in a car, I like buttons and knobs and things that tell you without having to go, what? And then you're... So, and just so that I can really drive home this point, humans don't multitask. In fact, we are prone to going in the direction that our eyes are looking. And those who are aware of that, we overcompensate far to the other side in anticipation of weaving off into the direction we're looking.
Oh, you mean like if somebody's driving and looking over to the side and then they're driving off the road?
Yes. Oh, look, Dunkin' Donuts, and then they crash into a telephone pole.
Wait, let's keep it modern. It's Dunkin'.
Oh, just Duncan. That's right. Never mind. Sorry about that. This is why we need that business only show. So we can keep abreast of the current status of the naming conventions for, what do you call Duncan? A breakfast fair, or what sector are they in? What business sector are they in? I don't know. Anyway, so Subaru is bringing back physical knobs and buttons in its cars to the relief of practically anybody who drives a car regularly. Japanese car maker Subaru is bringing back physical buttons and knobs for the 2026 Outback midsize SUV. So there's a reason why I might get an Outback.
Food and beverage or quick service?
That's generic. Everything else is that. McDonald's is that, but McDonald's doesn't
I
serve
know. I almost said
donuts.
fast food, but that didn't sound right.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's its own category. Breakfast fast food. I don't know, but you can get it any time. And that's why they got rid of donuts, because
then it says coffee and baked goods. Like, it kind of depends on where you're getting your information from.
Right. It's temporally and culturally relative. So it's another sign that car makers are finally starting to listen, ditching massive touchscreens that have taken over a vast number of vehicle controls in favor of tactile buttons, switches, and knobs. What I want is just a USB-C connector where I can put my tablet and it controls everything by way of the knobs, and it's an interface into the software.
That'd be too easy.
Yeah, all I want, boop, that little thing. So this article is over at futurism.com in a section they call The Byte, BYTE. Victor Tengerman put the article together. I don't know what this is circled other than there's like buttons and knobs and all of that kind of stuff. I guess that's what they're highlighting. And there's a bunch more on here. This thing looks like a 777, for crying out loud. Look at all the buttons and knobs. There's like...
Exactly. Maybe that's what they're going for.
It's like Razer controllers all over the place. Are they the UI developers? Benjamin Buttons is the little deck statement. Finally, some sense prevails.
I thought that was you.
No, they did it. So it's yet another sign that car makers are finally starting to listen. So it's something that consumers have been shouting from the rooftops for years now. Not only are touchscreens annoying to use, but experts have warned that they're dangerous as well by needlessly distracting the driver while on the road. They say this is great. One Reddit user, who obviously it's a Redditor, so the gospel of what's right and wrong. Anyway, so in response to a post showing images of physical dials and knobs inside the new Outback, everyone in the industry tried to copy Tesla and eliminate all knobs and switches. Finally, some sense prevails, another user wrote. But those are people who want buttons and beeping and all of that kind of stuff. I'm in that camp, but I really do want something that is controlled by the device that I have and not something that's on my car that I have to tap into. And
yeah, I want to be able to control what I'm getting. And I think by using my own devices, that's the best way to do it, right? It's not in some pre-configured thing that doesn't match my actual needs.
Right. So in November, South Korean car maker Hyundai said that it was similarly backing away from over relying on screens. Earlier this year, German car maker Volkswagen also announced that it would be bringing back physical buttons for the 5 most important functions in all of its vehicles starting next year. It says, "We will never, ever make this mistake anymore," VW design chief Andre Mint told Autocar. "There is no guessing anymore. There's feedback. It's real. And people love this."
I would like to hear the person actually speak.
And then he shouted, "Ich liebe dich, mein Schatz."
You might want to translate for those listening.
Moving on. The next article is over in FourWheelTech. The BMW M3 Competition's trunk is incredibly practical, and I was motivated. I wanted to see the junk in this car's trunk. When pressed to errand duty, the author of this said, "I ended up," which is kind of funny because we're talking about a trunk, ended. Anyway.
I think that was probably intentional.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you ask permission? It says I ended up being able to shove far more stuff in there than I ever would have expected. By the way, I love this car way more than I should. It has kind of a weird design aesthetic because it has these two little, it looks, I don't know, like two really big nostrils, like scooping up air. And I don't know. I have this picture of some alien thing with like really big. Colin Woodward over at Jalopnik put the article together. But I love the design of the car. This whole aerodynamic, I dig. This matte red color is
Not
pretty,
gray or black or white.
it's pretty amazing. Yeah, gray is actually kind of, gray, black, and white has dominated. We've talked about that. Yeah.
That's why I commented on it.
So this car, it says Mini recently invited them down to Savannah to drive the new John Cooper Works models, which is another article that we're going to be talking about, but not particular. Maybe this one. Maybe this person. I don't know. It's from Jalopnik. Anyway, moving on. Specifically the M3 competition. I know. Focus, Mayor Watt. Focus. The sentient AI I hear the sentient AI. Okay, so we have this loudspeaker system all throughout ohmTown, all streets, all houses, everything. There's this big booming voice from time to time, and it's focus, Mayor Watt. And I'm watching, always watching.
That's
Anyway,
right. Don't forget it.
oh, man. It's going to be awkward in the bathroom this time. It's very apparent that you're always watching. So no sense driving 2 hours to the airport, going through security, taking a flight when they could get there faster in a car, right? However, since all the minis were down in Savannah for the drive, they sent me a BMW. Specifically the M3 competition you see in the photo above. That is a sexy color. I love that color. Maybe that color can be put on the analog Slate Auto truck that we're going to talk about, because that truck is pretty cool. But we'll see. It says, after all, we aren't just talking about any old M3 here. It's an M3 competition with the ridiculous carbon fiber bucket seats with the crotch divider. It's a 5-point harness. So there is the trunk. But why are they even talking about this? It says he may not be able to tell from the photo, but there is a ton of room back there. Plenty of room for a bunch of junk to be put in the trunk.
I mean, I guess it's because it's not the type of car that you would expect to have decent trunk space.
No new Camry comes with more than 500 horsepower and a sub 4-second 0 to 60 mile per hour time, but the M3 competition sure does. But look, it's a 4-door. It's a sedan. This isn't a coupe. It's going to have room back there.
It's sportier than a sedan.
Yeah, the front half does. You know, as you approach the rear end, it gets a little flat backed, you know? It's a little dry in the rear. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a little back there. It's not really exciting. The front's pretty exciting. The side aerodynamics, the top, the lines are nice. But this thing is kind of boring in the back. It looks like every other.
Well, I guess they had to make it boring in the back to get the trunk.
So it's party up front. Lots of junk in the trunk. Anyway, I keep hearing about this BMW M3 competition, by the way. Supposed to be pretty good, pretty snazzy, pretty fast, handles well. Says, I mean, kids probably won't like how stiff the M3 is, but you never know. Maybe your kid is different. Just do yourself a favor and get the regular sports seats, especially if you describe yourself as anything more than dainty or petite. They say, I'm probably 145 pounds. Yeah, in your bra. Just kidding. I don't know how big or small this person is. But I just watched Liar Liar, and anyway. And even if they're getting close to being too wide to sit comfortably in the buckets, so get more comfortable seats. but you got a lot of room in your trunk for all your junk. Moving on. Unless you want to say something. You want to back up? You can talk about the junk in your trunk.
I don't have a trunk.
Uh,
I'm
Should I just move
lacking
on?
some junk in my trunk.
I know. There's a lot of storage.
Are
So
you
the
trunk
next
shaming
article.
me?
Yeah. Did you just assume my volume? So the next article is over in FourWheelTech as well. Slate Auto refuses to let the crank window die with the 2024 Jeep Wrangler. That's right. This year, 2026, you'll be able to buy a truck in the U.S. that's actually small and also puts you in charge of rolling down your window or up. I don't want that, though. I actually do like power windows.
I like power windows because I think there's a safety aspect to it. If you have to quickly roll your windows up, cranking them may not be the way to go.
Yeah, but if power goes out, then you can't power them down. So
Or up, depending
or up.
on what position they're in. But yeah, you're right.
Well, your car
They
is
don't have an
never. Well, yeah.
EV with powered windows.
Nope, you're screwed. So what you do is you just have a window breaker. Out goes the window. So Slate Auto revealed its first pickup Thursday night. I saw this. Thought it was an interesting car. It's basically a diminutive. It's a truck mini. How about that? A truck-based mini. It's really small.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that other one we featured in FourWheelTech, but it's a different manufacturer.
Yeah. There's a bunch of there's several that are out there now.
Mm-hmm.
But this is this is an EV. It's supposed to start at $27,500 before any incentives. The car is designed to be ultimately customizable. You can get different wheel rims on it. You can put a skin on the car akin to the ID Buzz because they aren't selling unless they're the multi-tone. But this thing is basically a bunch of composite panels. You can swap out lights and fenders and bumpers and all of this kind of stuff. And you use a hex key to just bolt them on. It's the IKEA of cars, essentially.
Yeah, but hopefully the instructions are in the language that you speak.
Yeah, really. And you
Which
don't
could
have,
vary depending on your location.
You definitely have to worry about like parts left over. So if you look at this dash, it has a little holder for your phone, and then there's just a tiny little instrument cluster. Nothing flashy, nothing anywhere, right? It looks like it has hand cranks, but I don't know if there are up and down locks and stuff like that, and window stuff over here as an option. I don't know. But they do say that's right. In the year 2026, you'll be able to buy a truck in the U.S. that's actually small and also puts you in charge of rolling your windows up and down. It says it's cool, it's nostalgic, and while they're sure that it doesn't actually save much money, they really appreciate an electric startup bringing crank windows back to the U.S. for the first time since, checks notes, the 2024 Jeep Wrangler. Yep, if you weren't paying super close attention, you might have assumed crank windows had been gone for longer than a single model year. But Jeep did technically offer crank windows for both the Wrangler and Gladiator right up until the 2025 model year.
Yeah, that's
So, Slate Auto, the interior is this flat gray whatever. The outside is this flat gray slate. It's all slate. The whole thing is slate. You have to get it customized. The color would be offered by either third-party solutions, bolting it in, getting them reskinned in some way, but wraps for the outside of the car. Other beeps and whistles come in the shape of additional things that you can purchase. You unbolt them and bolt them on, or you send the parts to a dealership or an authorized service center to bolt them on.
it's like kind of, I don't know what, like modular or like Lego or something.
Yeah, Lego. The only thing that I don't like about this is that it's perpetuating the solid sled as the battery pack. There is no fast swap batteries, and this thing, even its
That's true.
extended version, is only 240 miles. Its
Yeah,
initial range is
that's too bad.
120.
It
Rear-wheel
seems like
drive
a
only.
vehicle like this is the place where you could experiment with that.
Yeah, exactly. You're just now starting out. Do it right. You know, even if you don't have the infrastructure for fast swap batteries, you can have the mechanism in place so that when fast swap batteries do get adopted, you can pull these batteries out, put newer batteries in, and start the infrastructure build out of fast swap battery technology. This is what I want them to do. And you go, well, you know, what happens if battery technology changes? Well, the industry can continue. If you get more efficient batteries, that means that they're going to be in a smaller package. So you can put more into the same compartment as long as you have the same interconnect. You don't have to worry about fitting in that volume because they're going to be more efficient. And more efficient means that you can have them smaller, or you can have them the same size and have a massive amount of power available. But nobody is future-proofing these cars.
No, they're just following what's already out there.
Yeah, there's some weird, stupid dynamic about manufacturing these things where the battery pack has to be integrated into the sled. And I think it's dumb. But anyway, the whole idea behind this thing is to make this thing an inexpensive EV truck. But with 120 mile or 240 mile range, you throw anything short of maybe a dog in the back of this truck, and it's not going to go 120 miles. It's not going to go 240 miles. It's going to go 100 miles.
2 miles.
And then, yeah, downhill in a hurricane. Anyway, love the idea of it, but I really wish that it would have been hybrid. So hydrogen power, put right back here the fuel cell so I can just slide in one of the, is it Toyota or Yamaha or something? I don't know who it was that has the hydrogen fuel cell car. It isn't the Mirai. It's Toyota, yeah. But it isn't the Mirai. The Mirai is DOA because of other problems.
Because of lack of infrastructure.
Yeah, which is dumb. You can build out infrastructure. If you're going to sit there and build these stupid charging stations all over the freaking place, you could have done the Mirai a service. Anyway, moving on. And look at that. We're talking about the mini John Cooper Works 2-door. Is a hoot, but you probably still want the Cooper S. The Cooper S convertible is a better buy than the John Cooper Works hardtop, but if you can justify the price, the JCW Cabrio, sure, gives you the best of both worlds.
I thought that was a brand name of another manufacturer.
Yeah, the Cabriolet.
Yeah.
Colin Woodard put the article together. You know what? Let's do it live. Cabriolet. Do 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 do. From cabrio, goat's leap, or cabrioler, to leap in the air, so named because of the carriage's motion. Cabriolet.
Oh, interesting.
That's what the word comes from. Caper, because of the vehicle's light bouncing motion. So I don't know where it all, I mean, it's imported from France to England in the 1790s. The Cabriolet was originally a 2-seater driven by its owner with a platform on the rear for something else. I can't read the rest of it because it's truncated. But anyway, it means carriage, cabriolet, carriage. So the Cabrio basically is a convertible 2-seater, and Colin Woodard put the article together over at jalopnik.com. And look at that. It is the same person, because it says that meant that they got to drive there instead and get there in a BMW M3 competition. But once they were there, they were able to drive the 2025 John Cooper Works 2-door hardtop and convertible in there. I don't know. That's the hardtop. Even though minis aren't really about the numbers, the readers are. And so let's lay out some numbers. Regardless of whether you get the coupe, or coupe, or convertible. The John Cooper Works gets a turbocharged 2-liter inline-4 that makes 228 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. That's enough to get the hardtop up to 60 miles per hour in 5.9 seconds, while the soft top takes just a tick longer at 6.2. And if you want to put a hardtop in your garage, it'll cost you $40,000, including destination, while the convertible will run you a cool $45,000. I round up.
Well, with taxes and fees, it's going to be higher.
And that first tank of gas and all of that. So the Mini Cooper S starts at $33,000. Let me round up to the nearest thousand. So 34,000 makes 201 horsepower, 221 pound-feet of torque. Upgrading to the convertible adds another $5,000 to it. So you're still a convertible below the John Cooper Works, which is standard fare. The main thing with the John Cooper Works is that it's a beefed up engine, transmission. The drivetrain is beefed up, and that's really what JCW is all about.
Right, so it depends on what kind of driver you are, I suppose.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of different variants of all of the minis. Oxford Edition starts at 26,000, makes 161 horsepower, 184. This is kind of like it's a nicer interior. I think there's a proprietary color. I think it's like the British Racing Green makes it this tan interior. I think that's the Oxford Edition. If you want to get, or if you really want, though, you can get the Oxford Edition. At least those are the prices Mini would like to charge. Who knows what tariffs are going to end up impacting the thing. And yeah, I'll have to leave it at that. So at any rate, Mini also added a single pipe center exhaust, which serves as a nod to the original Mini Cooper. And on the one hand, they appreciate the Easter egg, but on the other hand, I think that a dual exhaust does look better. Yeah, it makes it kind of a little, I don't know, just kind of pooting out its exhaust in this one little pipe. I don't know how big that pipe is, though. Maybe if it's, a 2.5 inch or 4 inch exhaust, then it's exhausting a whole lot of, but it's probably this 1.5 inch pipe that isn't very impressive. When you're ripping it down the road, it's sitting there going,
yeah, but it's also a Mini, not a muscle car.
Like a balloon, and somebody's letting the air out. So they say convertible all the way. Now, I like Mini Cooper's hardtop. Maybe a removable hardtop, but I like the lines of the hardtop.
Yeah, the hardtop Mini does look. It's
yeah,
hard.
Give me a moonroof, sunroof, whatever you want to call it. What's the difference between a moonroof and a sunroof? Is it power? No.
Moonroof doesn't open.
Doesn't open at all. So they say convertible all the way, top down the whole way home. Would be a fun ride, but I don't know. These two doors, they have seats in the back, but I swear, unless you are a toddler.
Flat Stanley.
Flat Stanley.
Like two-dimensional.
So yeah, minis are no more, or manual minis are no more. They say, would I have had more fun with the transmission had been a manual? Absolutely. That isn't even a question. This is a car that's begging for manual transmission, and the fact that you can't get one hurts. They're not convinced that it's possible due to the tariffs, but at the very least, one of the product managers that they spoke to at Mini told them that the manual transmission isn't dead. Guess we'll see.
What does that mean?
They might be back when they make economical sense. So if you want to go fast, then no Mini is going to be for you. It says that's fine. If you have fun, though, while driving a car that's somewhat practical, then give the Mini convertibles a serious look. Whether it's the Cooper S or the John Cooper Works, I have to say no to all Minis unless they are all-wheel drive. And we really need a two-door Mini all-wheel drive S.
Right, not a Countryman or Clubman.
Right. Just give me everything that I want. I'll pay an extra $4,000 for having the all-wheel drive in there. I don't need any trunk space. I don't really need the people back here. It's just me and the sentient AI from time to time. I would rather buy 3, minis so that 6 people can go to dinner and everybody just take a car.
It's very efficient.
Yes. It's actually referred to as a California carpool. I'm not even joking. All right. Let's do our last article. This last article is about Mazda. Mazda is holding the 2025 Miatas at a port for computer issues. These sorts of delays are frustrating, but they're often more convenient for all parties involved than a full-scale recall. It's over at FourWheelTech, but it's sourced from Jalopnik. Amber De Silva put the article together. Apparently, Mazda has confirmed to The Drive that a vehicle control module in the Miata is to blame, though the automaker doesn't clarify further what specific module was causing the issue, nor what the specific issue is. Modern cars are rife with computers, with Mazda's parts fiche containing nearly 10 separate Miata modules that control various bits of the vehicle, and an issue is any one of them, or in any one of them, could be grounds for a recall. With this pre-call, Mazda avoids the hassle of notifying owners and ensuring everyone brings their cars in for a repair. So what is the problem? Yeah. What actually happened?
Exactly. And I don't know. It just drives everybody crazy before they get their cars.
Yeah, apparently these aren't actually sold yet. These are 2025 MX-5 Miatas. Okay. They say quite possibly the greatest car on sale today aren't actually on sale due to a possible issue with the car's vehicle control module. So they don't talk about the price of this thing. I don't know how much the MX-5 is right now. Hold on. We're going to do it live. 2025 Miata MX-5. That's a $30,000 car. It is a coupe. It's a coupe. There is automatic and manual, by the way. I don't know if it has all-wheel drive. Huh. Focus, Merwatt. Yeah, they don't actually say. Okay, I'm back. Hi. Am I still streaming? Probably shouldn't be. Anyway, but that's it. Ta-da! So if you are waiting for a Mazda MX-5 to show up, you're going to have to wait a little while they patch it. But that's it. I'm going to go out and buy a Mazda MX-5 because it looks really cool. I really like that. And at only 30 grand, 181 horsepower, it'd be a zippy little car to race around. It looks pretty sexy, actually. I like it. Anyway, that's it. We are going to race down Main Street back to the front page of FourWheelTech over at ohmtown.com, and I'm taking the AI with me. Say bye.
Bye-bye, Hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for FourWheelTech.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Oh, wait. Were you going to say anything else? Am I just stepping on you?
And you're just talking over me, so I just stopped talking.